uh, live after the Champions League, at least for this year. Let's put it like that. We don't know if we're going to come back next season, but big surprise, Alistair. I didn't expect those changes. I didn't expect Marzic to start central defender. I didn't expect Murici to start in attack. So Inzaghi surprised us. Can we say that?
Yeah, the most experimental he's been, probably with the exception of the Lazio Torino game that never happened. And again, I guess, obviously, I think he'd pretty much given up on this tie already, going by what he'd said in the press conference the day before, when he essentially said, like, our intention is to be back next year rather than talking about a comeback. But it did still surprise me to see as many changes as this, and slightly risky ones as well. Marisic playing just his third game, I think, in that position, and Murici, who just has struggled so much to get any game time this season to come in from the start. So yeah, big surprise there. And all in all, I don't know about you, but a 2-1 defeat, I'll probably take that. I think in the grand scheme of things, it could have been worse.
Yeah, definitely. Hi, Gabriele, by the way. Yes, the biggest concern probably, Alistair, that we had was that, right? So risky team, okay, we are not even trying to make it. So we rest some key players like Leiva, like Ciro Immobile. We give an option to Fares again, Maruzic, and so on. The biggest risk I felt was, okay, Bayern is a German team. They won't stop. They will try to score as many goals as possible. So I fear a little bit that, there could be a chance for a huge defeat. Instead, things didn't go that way. Do you think like Bayern a little bit said, okay, they're not trying, we won't force it?
I don't know, because I was surprised by how strong a team that they put out. The fact that their starting 11 is more or less the strongest 11 that they could put out. And it just made me take a second look. I was thinking, how have Bayern ended up putting out closer to the strongest 11 than Lazio had for this match? But yeah, I did feel, and I said the same thing after the first leg, even when they pumped us 4-1, that it just felt like the whole time Bayern have another 2 or even 3 gears to go into beyond what they showed against Lazio. And for me, like I said on Twitter immediately after the game, yes, it's frustrating that 4 out of the 6 goals Lazio conceded in this tie were self-inflicted. But at the same time, I don't think any of us can say that there was any doubt about Bayern being a class above Lazio. I think they looked in complete control in both ties, and you just have to put up your hands and say that it is what it is. But I hope it can help in the future. And yeah, it's good to reach this far in the competition in the first place.
Yeah, there are a lot of points of discussion, I think. One is that Milinkovic Savic again missed a couple of huge chances. And the other thing, Alistair, it looks like Bayern was going a completely different pace compared to Lazio and probably Italian team as well, right?
That's the sound of a dog, by the way. That's not Vittorio complaining about the result. Yeah, no, you're right. Exactly. I mean, it did feel like it's a bit of a clash of styles as well, I guess. And it felt like if an Italian team was going to beat Bayern, it wasn't really going to be Lazio, because there we are, the newest member of the Lazio Lounge team.
Yeah, Lucky.
And disappointed you didn't. Is it her or him?
Him, Lucky. Come on.
Yeah. Well, in that case, I'm disappointed you didn't go for Bastos or Mauricio.
Well, I tried for Klose, but my wife refused. So.
I forgot what I was saying now. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, no. I mean, look, the way we judge Lazio's Champions League season this year isn't on this tie, really. For me, it's on what happened in the group stages. And for Lazio to get through the groups unbeaten, in what at the start of the competition seemed like a decent draw, one of the better draws we could have got, but by no means a certainty to get through. I think that is real progress. If you consider that it's easy to say now, oh, Zenit, they were terrible, but Zenit are in the Champions League every single year, and Lazio haven't been in the Champions League group stages for 13 years. So to get through that group in the first place, with COVID absences, travelling to Bruges with about 6 players available or whatever it was, I mean, that's where Lazio, I think, should be judged in terms of the European campaign this season, and that, in that sense, has been a success for me.
Yes, definitely. I think we saw, right, seeing Juventus last week, seeing Atalanta yesterday, seeing Lazio today, that unfortunately Serie A probably is the slower league of the European one. We saw the other teams running faster than us. Gabriele is asking about Lazzari, because the most concerning point about this match, Alistair, is that we lost Lazzari and Fares. Now, I think Lazzari broke his finger. I didn't understand very well how, but it was awful to see, right? He should be able to play Sunday against Udinese, because you just need a stick there and should be able to play. On Fares, I'm not convinced. I think it's a knee injury, so this could take a little bit. And seeing him playing, he didn't play that bad today, Alistair. I don't know if you agree with me, but
Fares?
Yes.
No, I don't think so. No. I don't think anyone was terrible today, apart from maybe Murici.
Do you think Murici was terrible?
He did nothing apart from give away the penalty. Okay, well, I can hear you disagreeing with me, but I don't think he offered anything in attack. When he got the ball to feet, tried to find an opponent, too often his passes went astray. Now, I'm sure we're going to have a debate about the penalty decision, but I just don't think that he offered enough up front. I mean, it's not just him. I think Correa as well. Correa got a bit better in the second half for me, but yeah, I think Fares did okay. And it's with the injuries, that's a really disappointing one, because it did feel like last couple of games he's making a bit of progress, and that's the last thing he needs. So hopefully he's okay. Whereas you're right, the Lazio one looked awful. I mean, his pinky going at a completely weird angle.
Yeah, you could hear him shout all the way to the locker room. It was awful, yeah.
But like you say, I don't think it should it shouldn't rule him out for very long, because he can just snap it back into place.
Yeah. Unfortunately enough. Talking about Murici, the first thing I thought is that's the worst match to play him, because we know that Lazio was going to play counter-attack. So you need maybe Caicedo if you don't want to play Immobile instead of Ciro. I thought that was the wrong match for Murici. He fought as you could expect him. Now, the penalty for me was a little bit soft. And this excuse that they give it in Europe League, I always come back to Lazio Borussia Dortmund. They always give it in Europe, but it depends on which team, because Lazio had one even more clearer in the group phase against Borussia, and they didn't give it to us. So, but again, you've been silly because you could avoid the contact at the beginning. But yeah, I don't think, I'm more disappointed of Milinkovic Savic performance rather than Caicedo, than Murici's one.
Oh, really? No, I thought Milinkovic was one of the better players. We're not agreeing.
I thought he made a lot of mistakes. Bayern Munich had at least a couple of chances, because Milinkovic made a terrible pass in a key position because he was just outside our box. I don't know. I mean, if I'm go.
Sorry. I would say as well, though, I know what you mean. There were a couple of moments where he got things wrong, but he was so heavily involved. If you look in the first, I think it was at half time, I saw the kind of statistics of the half, and he had twice as many touches as Luis Alberto. So he was actually taking that game by the scruff of the neck, and he was trying to make things happen. He was trying to move that team forward and take on a leadership role in that midfield. And I really liked seeing him take on that responsibility. I felt like Alberto was a complete passenger in that first half. Everything went past him. He didn't deal with the pressure very well at all. He plays one wonderful pass over the top from Milinkovic, but beyond that, I felt like he wasn't involved as nearly as much as I would like him to. And yes, Milinkovic will get a couple of things wrong, but I felt like he stepped up and tried to make his presence felt.
I agree with you about Luis Alberto, and I really feel that you can see the difference, right? In Serie A, we say that Luis Alberto looks to be very fast with his mind, except we saw it against Bayern Munich. It was completely the opposite, right? He was so slow because he wasn't used to play at that speed. So I fear that the problem is there, right? Luis Alberto struggled both at home and away against Bayern Munich. And I don't know, maybe we overvalued our players because at the speed of Bayern Munich, we saw that they struggled. It's true that this is the best team in Europe. So, it's not only Lazio not ready to that level. I think probably all the other European teams are not ready. But when we think about Milinkovic Savic, Luis Alberto, best player in Europe, well, it depends at which speed they are.
Yeah, and I think that's one element when we talk about the Champions League, playing in the Champions League, playing at this level, being a useful experience for a lot of these players who are still very green when it comes to Champions League. Take that on and improve as a result of it, because they're not getting that pressure in Serie A matches. They're not getting that pressure very often in any of the games they're really playing. So it does make, it puts that pressure on. I think when Lazio started playing their best football, there was a period in the second half when they were just playing two-touch football. And they were playing some really nice stuff, little triangles down the right-hand side between Lazio and Milinkovic and Marasic. And it was just that, constant one-touch, move it on, players moving around, great passing movement. And that was the first time I thought, wow, they're developing, they're adapting to the situation in the game and getting better as a result. But obviously, few and far between the moments they did that. And they still took a few too many risks defensively for me in this game, even though we have to say it was an improvement on the first leg, but that's not really the greatest praise that you can have.
Yeah, and I think the biggest problem is that you can allow 2 goals to Crotone and you can still win it. But against a team like Bayern Munich, you cannot make mistakes, especially the one Lazio made. You gave them a penalty. The second goal, Rado is completely out of position. We said it before the match. Lazio has to be perfect to have a chance. And again, today, we were far from perfect.
Yeah, I agree. I think they kind of grew into the game a bit. It was disappointing to concede the first goal the way they did. The second goal, again, disappointing. They left a ridiculously large gap in the centre of the pitch for Choupo-Moting, Stoke City legend. But but it's Choupo-Moting is still one of these kind of European football success stories. It just baffles me. Anyway, but yeah, all in all, it was definitely an improved performance on what we saw in the first leg. Even though they this is a point that went missing after the first leg. First leg, they created a hell of a lot more chances than they did tonight. They actually had enough chances to score far more than 1 goal in that game with the way that they counter-attacked, but it was always the final ball or the final shot that let them down. Whereas tonight, I just felt like they were struggling to get through that Bayern defence, probably a bit as a result of being a bit more cautious in their approach as well, having been caught out so many times.
A couple of positive things, Alistair, about this night. We finally see that when Pereira takes the free kicks, we are able to score. Right?
Yeah. I know. I was drifting off to sleep, having felt like I had been watching this game for about 3 weeks. I couldn't believe it was still 75 minutes, and then Lazio score from a set piece, and I thought, right, I might have fallen asleep here. This must be a dream. This cannot be reality. But there it was, Pereira to Parolo. Who would have thought that would be the combination that would get Lazio a goal?
Yeah, I mean, Parolo scoring against Bayern Munich. He scored 2 goals in 5 matches of Champions League, Marco Parolo. So, and I don't know about yourself, but when I saw him playing on the right side, I said, oh my God, this is going to finish ugly. Instead, he played quite well. He scored. He had another chance at the end of the match. I don't know. Is it pure coincidence, Alice, that when Pereira came in, Lazio started playing better football? I don't want to say that he's better than Luis Alberto, etc. But maybe he's more used being at Manchester United to this fast-paced football compared to maybe Luis Alberto.
I don't think it's even so much that as that it's more his style of play. I think Alberto's style of play is more rhythmic and played at kind of a slower tempo, but he likes to kind of collect the ball, get his head up, see what his options are, pick his pass, and he's very good at that. Whereas Pereira always comes on with a real sense of urgency, and whenever he plays, and this might be just from what we've seen at Lazio because he only gets 10, 15 minutes every time he comes on. But whenever he plays, it seems like he's desperate to get the ball. And when he gets the ball, he's immediately wanting to try and create. You know, he's wanting to get a pass in behind the defence or throw a cross into the box or get a shot away or whatever it is. And I know he's not produced tons of assists like he did tonight, but he is definitely a creative option that we've got in this team that we're not using nearly enough for me.
Do you agree with the Crolaziale? I'm the only one who wasn't that impressed with Bayern. My impression is that probably when they saw the starting 11 of Lazio, they said, okay, this is a sort of friendly match, so we won't play as it a Champions League match. That's my impression. I don't know if you agree with me, Alistair.
Hansi Flick, really. They're at Marici, no. they can't be serious. Yeah, well, no, I mean, it's like I'll come back to what I already said. I felt like Bayern have another 2 years to go into. You know, I don't think we've seen the best of Bayern in these 2 ties, but at the same time, I feel like part of the reason is that they never really needed to. You know, they were handed a very comfortable win in Rome by Lazio, and they were never put in a position in over the 2 legs where they had to come out and you know, throw everything that they've got at Lazio. They were never in that position, so we never saw them with that fire in the belly needing to do it. So I reckon we'll get a better answer to that question once they have a quarter final against potentially a team who will give them a harder time than Lazio did.
The biggest surprise for me, positive surprise, was Escalante, because I thought he played well. I had the impression at a certain time, Alice, that probably he's best suited for this match than Leva. Leva is a little bit too slow for fast speed midfield like the one against Bayern. I thought Escalante played very well today. And one reason why Bayern didn't create that many chances was because the Argentinian was fast enough, moved well, and protected the defense.
Yeah, and that looked like at the start of the game a similar kind of thing to Marici, where Inzaghi was just deciding to rotate. But do you think now that maybe he's actually starting to think of Escalante as more than that, as a first choice option?
Well, it can be because
I mean, Lucas can't last forever.
yeah, and to be honest, I didn't. A lot of newspaper here in Italy said that Leva didn't play very well the last couple of matches. I didn't have the same impression, but you could see that he's slowing down. He's not fast as a couple of years ago, and he's often injured. And I think in Champions League, where the other teams run much faster than us, you cannot have a player so slow in the pitch. Even though with experience he cope with the slowness, but I think Escalante probably nobody, even Inzaghi, didn't expect him to see him playing that well. So yeah, I think it could be a solution from next season probably.
Yeah, and I would add as well, it's not just the speed, but the position that he holds in the team, because he's got that kind of that tactical pivot position, I guess, where they want Alberto and Milinkovic-Savic to push further up the pitch, but that results in there being this huge, part of the midfield that Lucas is essentially having to sweep.
Yeah.
And he's very good at that because he's a very clever player and knows how to anticipate the play. But against a team like Bayern, the speed that they move, not just the players running at, but the speed they move the ball at, makes it far harder for one man to cover all that ground. So I felt like Milinkovic-Savic and Alberto were both playing a lot deeper than usual today and helping him out with that task. But yeah, I think Escalante is growing into the team. He's been a kind of quiet success, I would say, so far.
Yep, agree. And I agree with Krolaziale, Marusic. Not sure if he was the best player on the pitch, but it was a convincing performance. And, we have to say he wasn't playing against Crotone. He was against the best team in the world and defended well. I still want to see him back in his position. And when Parolo came in, I thought, okay, he's going to bring back Marusic on the right side and Parolo will play central defender, which didn't happen again. And this is the second time, right? Because even when Patrick came in, he put Patrick on the right midfield and kept Marusic in the center. I can understand that Marusic is doing well there, but I think Lazio need him more in the midfield where he can push and he can be a big help, a big boost for Lazio when attacking.
Yeah, but the more I think about it, the more I think I can see why Inzaghi might want to develop him in that role, because he's got kind of, if he can train him defensively properly, then he's got everything Inzaghi wants from a player in that position, which is someone who's good on the ball, who can deliver a cross. Okay, that bit's a bit debatable, but but he's a big guy, Marusic, so he's able to defend aerially as well. He's big enough to physically compete with players in a way that Patrick possibly can't. He's not slow. He's got the kind of blend, I guess, of physical and technical qualities that Inzaghi would want from a player on the right side of that defence. But yeah, for me, it's kind of like, again, he's just trying to be as inventive as he can to try and sort out this defence. I think Lazio are still long-term going to be better off if Marusic plays where he's most comfortable. And Lazio actually signed defenders, that crazy idea.
Even because you're losing a player with a huge progression, and that's the typical thing you want from a right back, right? Someone who can push, and when he has 20 meters, he takes on, and it's hard to stop. To be honest, Alistair, when this morning I read that Musacchio would have started, I was a little bit surprised, because the reason why he didn't play recently is because he started against Bayern Munich and did that mistake. So I felt a little bit concerned, because I couldn't see Inzaghi saying, okay, I give you another chance against Bayern Munich. It was the perfect chance to burn Musacchio again. So I was unfortunately believing Patrick would have started. But do you think Musacchio will have another chance, or this is it?
I mean, he has to. He has to. I mean, I think we've got how many games? 11 games left in the season, league season now, and yeah, the one thing is, I guess, now that Lazio are out of Europe, they can refocus entirely on the Champions League race. They're going to be pretty exhausted from everything that's been going on, but now at least they can look at that and say, right, well, we've got this amount of games to finish the season strongly and somehow still in it, somehow. To get there, I think that Inzaghi is going to have to rotate cleverly, and one of the most important positions to do that in is defensively, like we've said all along. Musacchio is still untested for Lazio, really. We still don't really know how good or not he is. He's made one bad mistake, but he's also had a couple of good games. So I find it frustrating not to see him get more of these matches. I mean, I guess, Udinese on the weekend, for example, they're not a team that test you defensively an awful lot. Perhaps that's an occasion for him.
Yes, let's not forget we lost against Udinese right before, so I would say the test.
I'm not going to the game this time, though.
Okay, so we have a chance. Good to know. Good to know. But yes, you signed a player in January, and he hardly played. And before he started a couple of matches, and he didn't go that bad. And the other thing is, okay, you say, well, I have Nesta, I have Musacchio. Well, I start Nesta, that's obvious. But you have Patrick, It's not that he's competing against the best defender in the world. So, I mean, the fact that he's not having a single minute, it's something I struggle to understand. The other thing, Alistair, I don't know. At the beginning, I couldn't understand is Caicedo decided Lazio Crotone. I was expecting him to start today. He didn't. Do you think, like I said, okay, maybe he's keeping him fresh because he's going to start next Sunday against Udinese, and that's the most important match for Lazio now? Or do you think it's Inzaghi didn't like the quotes of Caicedo after Crotone's match?
I think there's actually a pretty good chance of him starting against Udinese because Udinese have a very physical defence with Neutink and Becao and Samir. That Lazio are going to need to compete with them physically to get anywhere. And the fact that Murici has started tonight, I find it hard to believe that Murici would start again in that game. But I don't think that's a match for Immobile Correa. So I wouldn't be surprised at all to see Immobile Caicedo start in that game like the good old days, which we've not seen for a while. Because I think that's going to be a tough match. Udinese are, let's be honest, terrible to watch, but they are an effective team at what they do, which is ask you to find a way through and punish you if you try too hard and leave spaces in behind. So, but yeah, I think because of that physical challenge that they're going to pose, Caicedo might be in line for that. Because he deserves it. He deserves it for not just the late goal, but his patience and the way Murici's been playing, and he's still getting starts. I feel like with Immobile's form what it is, Murici's form what it is, Correa's not scoring goals. Why not? I mean, he does deserve to have a chance.
Yes, I totally agree about that. And I was hoping to see Caicedo start today. But I hope this means that he's going to start against Udinese. Talking about Udinese, there's a player I would love to see with Lazio shirt next year, and it's De Paul. I think he's ready. I think he would be a perfect fit for Lazio. So, Lazio fan all over the world, if you're going to see the match, check out De Paul because I really feel he's ready, and that would be a huge signing for Lazio if we are able to sign him. So, yeah, and I hope that Caicedo will start.
De Paul, I can tell you, if Lazio managed to somehow sign De Paul because everyone wants him, it would be the classic case where they spend, 30 million on him, and then he sits on the bench behind Akpa Akpro next season and gets 5 minutes every 5 games.
Yeah, we're gonna see. Anyway, time to wrap it up, Alistair. I don't know what you're writing, a letter to your girlfriend or something like that. But thanks again for joining me. We're gonna talk again after Lazio Udinese. We're back to the Serie A. Luckily, Roma lost, but with Napoli winning against Milan, the fight it's tough for the Champions League for the fourth position. It's true Lazio has to play again against Torino, so we could be closer than we are at the moment. But from now on, Lazio need to win every single match and hope that someone loses points during the season. David saying that the Pole is too expensive. Yes, okay, but if you want to improve the team, you have to sign good players, and I think the Pole it's a perfect example. Udinese said that this summer they're gonna sell him, and especially if one like Luis Alberto or Milinkovic Savic is gonna leave, then he's the perfect replacement. Right, Alistair? Do you back me on this?
Yeah, and definitely in those circumstances, if one of them were to leave, I just find it hard to believe that that's going to happen at the moment. But we'll see. We got plenty of time to talk about transfers.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Who needs the excitement of the Champions League when you've got Udinese coming up? So
we are really looking forward for that. Yes,
the bread and butter to look forward to.
Finally, back to our bread and butter. Thank you guys for listening. Remember, you can subscribe on YouTube to our channel, on Spotify, Spreaker, iTunes, where you can find our podcasts. And we're usually here after every Serie A match. So we're going to be back after Udinese Lazio. Good night, Alistair. Good night, everybody.